How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid Group. Yes, it did have a pullback inside of the market today. Ended up breaking through that level I was talking about of $47.50, touching down to $46.02. And then, of course, ended up having a good recovery. But I'm getting those questions. Dre, do you see Lucid getting back to the $50 range? What is the analysis? We want to know. So, of course, I put this video together. I won't waste any more time. We're going to go into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as the bullish case scenario. I got my traders out there covered. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information. The reason why the short interest is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what was the buying and as well as the selling behavior like on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $48.41, being down 5.34%. On the low, it tested $46.02, and then on the high, testing $51.84. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 76.498 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days being at 93.715 million shares. So not too far off from our average volume, but we did deal with a lot of selling pressure. And we also did see this in the EV sector as a whole. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is right around 55.49. And then when we take a look at the moving averages here in our chart, we have strength above the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day. And of course, you can see we ended up breaking through the 21-day EMA on the day, but we still ended up closing above it. So one of the things I want to bring to your attention, I was talking about if you see it break through the $47.50 area of support, you could potentially see a move going down to $46. And look where we tested. We test $46.02. And the main reason for this is we have shown to have support here in the past. We saw this on November the 15th, and we also did see this right here on November the 8th. So seeing it bounce off of this level was not surprising. Now, what we want to look forward to going into tomorrow in the bullish case scenario, you're going to want to see Lucid come back to the $50 level. If it's able to come back to the $50 level and close Friday above 50, then it could look really strong going into next week. If it decides to pull back further, then of course this 46 level, you're going to want to see it hold. And if it decides to pull back further in regards to this $46 level, then the next level you're going to want to see some strength is right here around $45. And if it was going to break through $45, then the next level to keep an eye on would be right here around 44 and also near the 42.50 area as well. So now that you know what it looks like in a bearish case scenario and as well as in a bullish case scenario, let's see if Lucid can close above $50 come tomorrow and then consolidate so you could actually get to see the opportunity of it touching the $60 range. I myself personally, I'm going to continue to trade what the chart tells me going into tomorrow. So whether it looks bullish or it looks bearish, I'm going to make sure I trade in that direction. So we're going to take a look at the short interest information for Lucid. So we can see the dark pool short volume ratio is at 56.20, and then for the dark pool short volume being just over 25.46 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 9.1 million, updated 10 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 0.53%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we could see for the close of the 30th, it was at 54.66. 56.65, and then for the close of December the 1st, which was yesterday, being at 56.20. So we do see an increase there. So what this tells us, Lucid does continue to have short squeeze potential, but there's a lot of negative market sentiment around the stock. A lot of shorts are saying, hey, the price needs to come down. So just know this is going to come with a lot of volatility, and you want to make sure you're playing it in the right direction as a trader. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we can see here on the inflow, it was at 779, and then on the outflow, it was 971. When we take a look at the breakdown on the inflow side, it was 9.65 on the large. On the medium, it was 433, and then on the small, it was 337. For the outflow side on the large, it was 7.24. Then on the medium, it was 540, and then on the small, it was 423. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for December the 2nd, it was at 2.42 million. So of course, large scale orders won out. When we analyze the numbers even further, you can see on the small scale, which represents the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. When we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. But when we take a look at the large, which potentially could be representing institutions, we had more buying than we had selling. So this is definitely good to see, but I could see that there was a lot of profit taking overall on the day. Now, when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it is at 4.67%. So this is no surprise whatsoever due to the fact that there's a lot of volatility inside of the markets. We also did see, as far as for overall strength, we ended up breaking through that $50 level, and we ended up testing all the way to $46. When I checked inside of the after hours, I saw Lucid was at $49. So this is why, well, you know what? I'll talk about it further inside of the final thoughts. Let's get into it right now. So for my final thoughts for Lucid Group, we have to take into consideration what's going down inside of the market. I saw a lot of EV plays were pulling back big time. It wasn't only Lucid. So taking this into account, going into tomorrow, I want to see Lucid get back to the $50 level. Like I said, last time I checked inside of the after hours, it was around 49. I feel if it can get back to the $50 range and then continue to consolidate and hold that area, then we could look forward to seeing some strong moves to the upside and potentially seeing that $60 price target. If it stays below $50, then of course we want to see if it does decide to pull back, will it go back to that $46 area? Because the next stronger area of support is going to be around $45. And if that level did ever end up breaking, then that's where I can see us getting close to around $40, because that's when it starts looking fairly bearish. So I want to make sure you guys are fully aware of this and just make sure that you have a strategy in regards to trading in the right direction. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, Lucid does continue to have short squeeze potential, but there also is a lot of negative market sentiment around the stock. So this volatility that you're going to be seeing, it can go in either direction, and it does move alongside with the market. But you also have to pay attention, we are in an EV bubble, and I was saying in previous videos, once this bubble pops, Lucid will be impacted by this. So keeping an eye on the market conditions and as well as other EV plays can give you a good idea of what's happening and what direction you'd want to go in if you decide to trade this stock. And another point that I want to address, I got a lot of negative feedback when I was saying if you're a long-term investor, you should not be starting a position when Lucid is trading at $50 plus. It is not wise to do this because as far as for the valuation is concerned, they haven't proved anything as of yet. Yes, they have a great car, they have great technology, they have a lot of potential, but at these current prices, you're paying quite the premium. And I was saying that you want to be patient. Now I'm getting messages saying, well, Dre, I ended up buying in the $50 range anyway and so on. So what should I do next? You see the stock going back to 50. As a long-term investor, you should not be concerned. You should not be worried. You should be doing your homework, doing your due diligence. And if the stock is pulling back even more, you have the opportunity to add so you can get your average cost down. And I want to make sure I really emphasize this, and this is why I say it has been a paradise for traders, because as a trader, you could play any direction, whether you want to go long or you want to go short, or whether you want to buy calls or you want to buy puts. We've talked about support and resistance areas. We went in depth in regards to the price action, so many people were able to take advantage of that opportunity. So this is why you got to do what works best for you, and you have to stick with that strategy all the way through, unless you decide to change your mind afterwards and say, well, you know what, I'd rather move my money somewhere else. I see a better opportunity. I'm just trying to emphasize this because you really don't hear much of this on YouTube, and I want to make sure that you guys are actually fully aware of it, instead of just hearing someone tell you, well, you know what, this stock is going to go to the moon, it's not going to go down, you need to get in now. Nah, you want to make sure when you're putting your money inside of the stock market, you're doing it wisely, and doing it wisely means having a clear strategy. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how Lucid performs going into tomorrow.